We were able to obtain Archie Chapman's personnel file through open records from the Galveston Police Department. As you can see, he started out July 11, 2003 from a police cadet, and he was promoted to Patrolman 1. Then on June 9th, 2004, he was then promoted from a Patrolman 1 up to a Patrolman 2. As you can see, the significance and amount of pay that was increased. This here brings us to one of Archie Chapman's first incidents where he was ultimately suspended for 3 working days. Under the Texas Local Government Code, the reason for removal or suspension falls under these categories here. And here's the City of Galveston Civil Service Rules and Regulations. And here are just a few more reasons why he would be getting suspended. And one thing I want to take a look at was, I saw this here, respect for constitutional rights. No person has a constitutional right to violate the law. Conversely, no person may be deprived of his constitutional rights merely because he is suspected of having committed a crime. And I found that very interesting. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into the incident itself. This complaint involves Archie Chapman's unjustifiable use of force. On January 29, 2005, on around 2:48 p.m., while on duty, Chapman was dispatched at 1900 block of 26th Street in reference to subjects fighting with sticks. Chapman reported that upon his arrival, a subject began to drive a vehicle directly toward him, placing him in immediate danger. Chapman reported that the subject refused to obey his continuing orders to stop the vehicle. Chapman reported that as Mr. Johnson's vehicle drove toward him, he attempted to get out of the way, raise his weapon, and squeeze the trigger twice, striking the driver's side rear tire as the vehicle brushed him. However, this statement is inconsistent with the physical evidence and Chapman's statement to Sergeant McLean. During the internal affairs investigation, Chapman stated that the vehicle was directly in front of him when he shot. Chapman's statement that he was aiming at the driver is inconsistent with the physical evidence. Internal affairs investigation concluded that there existed no reasonable immediate threat of great bodily harm at the time Officer Chapman used deadly force against Mr. Johnson. Chapman admitted that it was an officer safety issue and that he placed himself in that position with the intention that the suspect wasn't going to get in his vehicle and drive off. Chapman was faced with a subject fleeing in a motor vehicle who did not represent an immediate threat to the life of Officer Chapman or another when Officer Chapman fired his duty weapon. Officer's conduct was unlawful and unprofessional. Chapman was suspended for 3 working days. However, he does have the right to appeal the suspension, as it stipulates in the Texas Local Government Code. And he is also notified that he has 10 days from the date of this receipt to make a written appeal. And down below is signed the Chief of Police at the time, Kenneth Mack, and Archie Chapman. Then on June 9th of 2006, Archie Chapman was promoted from Patrolman 1 up to Patrolman 3. As you can see, the difference in pay was only about $1,800. The next incident involving Archie Chapman resulted in him being suspended for a total of 15 days. And these here are the reasons for removal or suspension as stated by the Texas Local Government Code. This incident involves a traffic stop of Archie Chapman. On April 18, 2007, Chapman conducted a traffic stop on the 2400 block of Avenue O.5. Officer Chapman engaged in unprofessional conduct by using loud, profane, and threatening language. Chapman's conduct was unjustified and unprofessional, and this resulted in him being suspended for a total of 15 days. And at the bottom of that incident, Kenneth Mack, Chief of Police, and Archie Chapman. And then on June 9th, 2008, Chapman was promoted from Patrolman 3 to Patrolman 4. Then on October 12th of 2009, Archie Chapman went from a police officer 4 to sergeant. Our next incident brings us to January 3rd, 2011, which the Galveston Police Department Accident Review Board decided to review some of the accidents involving Galveston police officers. One of those incidents that were reviewed happened on November 30th of 2010 involving Archie Chapman. It was found that the accident could have been preventable if it wasn't due to the negligent driving on part of Chapman. And after review of Chapman's driving history, it showed that he has been reprimanded twice in 2010 for negligent driving. And at the bottom of that incident was Chief of Police Charles Wiley and Chapman. And on December 20th of 2010, Chapman finds himself in the middle of yet another internal affairs investigation. On December 13th, 2010, Officer Powell submitted a formal complaint with a written statement attached. Officer Powell stated that he believed Chapman had been having an affair with his wife, Amanda Tober. Chapman had sex with his wife while on duty. He also stated that Chapman had consumed an alcoholic beverage in a marked patrol unit. He also believed that Chapman may have used an illegal substance, marijuana, while at a party at Officer Powell's house. An investigation was launched and it was proven that Chapman had not used any illegal substance. 5 days after the date in question, Archie was subject to a drug test because of a fleet. It's unsure if this was related to a fleet accident. However, he did admit that he was around a group that was smoking marijuana. It was also proven that Chapman was having an affair with Officer Powell's wife, but no proof that Chapman had sex while on duty. Chapman said that he could not recall having sex on duty, but admitted to making out. Amanda Tober could only give one specific date of Chapman. However, Chapman was off that day. It was also proven that Chapman was drinking beer while off duty in a marked patrol unit. He admitted doing so, and there was also a photograph of the incident. Chapman was in the presence of someone smoking marijuana, and this conduct would reflect unfavorable as a member of GPD. Officer Chapman was also drinking beer in a marked patrol unit. This behavior also would reflect unfavorable as a member of GPD. Charles Wiley, Chief of Police, and Chapman. Chapman was suspended for a total of 5 days, and at the bottom of that incident, Charles Wiley, Chief of Police, and Chapman.